In the last minute or so from Buckingham Palace, His Majesty the King has today initiated a formal process to remove the style, titles and honours.
That he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming, yes.
Unbecoming? He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite.
On November 16th, 2019, Prince Andrew sat down with Emily Maitlis for a BBC Newsnight interview that was supposed to clear his name. It did the opposite.
Knew that what we had was pretty extraordinary. Of course, what I was doing was constantly asking what questions I'd missed. Oh my God, did I miss that? Did I ask him about that?
And while the entire interview became a masterclass in catastrophic judgment, one sentence sealed his fate more than any other. Not a denial of wrongdoing, not an apology, but a single bizarre claim about his own biology. I didn't sweat at the time.
Peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was, yes, I didn't sweat at the time because...
Comments on the right which exonerate him by saying he hasn't actually done anything. What do you think about Andrew, and should he be cut loose from the royal family completely? Should he be kicked out of his house?
Yeah, look, all I know is this was a guy who stated very...
Have you met him, by the way?
I met him.
That sentence didn't just fail to defend him. It revealed something deeper. It showed what happens when someone raised to never be questioned tries to explain themselves under scrutiny. And it exposed the fundamental problem with institutional power. It forgets how normal human beings sound when they're telling the truth. The interview happened because Andrew had no choice. For years, he'd been connected in media reporting to serious allegations through his association with a convicted financier who died in custody months earlier. The story wouldn't go away. Photos existed. Flight logs existed. Witnesses were speaking publicly. And Andrew's silence was starting to look like guilt. So his team made a calculation. They believed a sit-down interview with a respected journalist on the BBC's flagship current affairs program would allow him to set the record straight. They were catastrophically wrong.
The daughters and also their mother as well. So what do they do there? Like a lot of families deciding where do you go and spend Christmas.
But it's quite a thing though, Rupert, isn't it? I mean, you know, they've rejected their mother and their father.
The interview was recorded at Buckingham Palace. Emily Maitlis, known for her sharp, unflinching interviewing style, asked direct questions. And Andrew, surrounded by the trappings of royalty, gave answers that sounded like they'd been workshopped by someone who had never actually spoken to a human being outside a palace. The "I don't sweat" line appeared about halfway through the interview. Maitlis referenced a specific allegation from a woman who described dancing with Andrew at a nightclub in London in 2001. She said he was sweating heavily. Andrew's response was immediate and oddly specific. He said it couldn't have been him because at that time, he had a medical condition that prevented him from sweating. He claimed the condition developed after he was shot at during the Falklands War. The adrenaline overdose, he said, meant he couldn't sweat. And then, as if to really drive the point home, he added that he'd since recovered. That he could sweat again now. What people miss is that he wasn't denying an allegation. He was denying biology. And he did it with a kind of over-precision that only comes from rehearsal. Because when people tell the truth, they don't explain their sweat glands. They don't trace medical conditions back to combat trauma. They say, "That wasn't me," or "I don't remember that night." But Andrew didn't say either of those things. He constructed a narrative. And the more detailed the narrative became, the less believable it sounded. This is a red flag in any high-stakes denial. Over-explaining signals that the speaker knows the story needs reinforcement. That the simple denial won't hold. So they add details, specifics, context. They build scaffolding around the claim because the claim itself is fragile. And Andrew built an entire medical history. The problem is that no one asked him to. Maitlis didn't say, "Prove you don't sweat." She simply repeated what someone else had said. And Andrew, instead of dismissing it, defended himself against it with the kind of specificity that made it sound like he'd thought about this exact question many times before. Like he'd been waiting for it. Like the answer had been prepared. The uncomfortable truth is that Andrew's real mistake wasn't lying. It was explaining. Because explanation is what you do when you don't have the kind of power that makes questions stop. And Andrew had spent his entire life in a world where questions stopped, where his word was enough, where he didn't need to justify or clarify or defend. But in that interview, sitting across from Maitlis, he was in a different system. One where silence wasn't deference, where authority wasn't automatic, and he didn't know how to operate in it. So he did what people do when they're used to being believed but suddenly aren't. He overtalked. He gave more information than was asked for. He treated a straightforward accusation like a complex puzzle that required a multi-part solution. And in doing so, he made himself sound guilty. The contrarian view here is that the content of the sentence mattered less than the timing. By November 2019, Andrew's public image was already damaged. The association with the deceased financier was well documented. But he hadn't spoken. He'd stayed silent. And silence in scandal can be strategic. It can be interpreted as dignity, as legal caution, as refusal to engage with false accusations. But the moment he broke that silence with a Newsnight interview, the clock started. And every word he said from that point forward was being measured not just for truth, but for plausibility, for how it sounded. And "I don't sweat" sounded insane, not because it was medically impossible. Anhidrosis, the inability to sweat, is a real condition. But because no one talks that way. No one, when accused of being somewhere, responds by cataloging their glandular function. It's not how humans defend themselves. It's how someone who's been told what to say defends themselves. And the audience could hear it. Medical experts weighed in within hours. Some said the condition Andrew described was plausible. Others said it was unlikely. But the medical accuracy didn't matter. The damage was done. Because the sentence revealed something about Andrew that no amount of royal protocol could hide. It revealed that he thought an explanation, any explanation, would work. That detail equaled credibility. That if he just said enough words, in enough of a certain tone, people would believe him. But credibility doesn't come from detail. It comes from consistency. From the feeling that someone is telling the truth because the truth is easy to tell. And Andrew's answer didn't sound easy. It sounded labored, constructed, like he was reading from a script he'd memorized but didn't quite understand. The fallout was immediate. Within days, Andrew stepped back from public duties. Sponsors distanced themselves from his charitable initiatives. The palace issued statements. But none of it could undo the interview. Because the interview had done something irreversible. It had let people see him trying to explain himself. And the explanation was worse than silence ever could have been. He couldn't. Because doubt doesn't care about detail. Doubt cares about tone. About whether someone sounds like they're telling the truth. And Andrew sounded like he was performing. Like he was trying to convince not just Maitlis, but himself. The sentence ended him not because it was unbelievable, but because it was the kind of thing only someone with no idea how they sound would say. It was the moment power forgot how humans talk, how they defend themselves, how they make themselves credible. Andrew thought the interview would restore his reputation. Instead, it destroyed what was left of it. Not because he admitted anything, but because he denied something no one would deny that way unless they'd spent too much time thinking about how to deny it. And that's the lesson. The over-explanation is the confession. The detail is the tell. The moment you start justifying your biology is the moment people stop believing anything else you say.